welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Jessica, and today we're going to be working on building a large family home for multiple generations. I've been really inspired to build more suburban homes. I built that fall home, which you guys seem to really like, and I just wanted to build something that was really similar and something that was really big and had lots of rooms for lots of family members. There's even a grandma in this house, and there's many spaces and many rooms, and I love this house, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. And I'm really excited to be back to recording and back to working and building. If you didn't notice, I was gone for about 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks. I was really sick, but now I'm home and I'm feeling a lot better. So now I'm back to work and back to recording, and I'm hoping to get back to streaming on Twitch really soon. But for right now, I am back to recording. I recorded this one right before I left. I was in hospital for a little bit, not for too long, but I recorded this one right before I left, and I didn't get to do the voiceover for it before I left. So here it is now. I'm recording the voiceover the night before you guys are seeing this. So I hope you guys enjoy this house. I really like this house, and I really like how it came together too. I think it's got a lot of space. It even has a adorable little craft room, like grandma craft room. And grandma runs like a little side hustle, like a little Etsy business from this house. And you've got dad working here, and I imagine that the dad in this house was a chef, like a professional chef. Maybe, well, originally what I thought for this family, now that I think about it, I was trying to figure out what I had an idea for this family, and it's coming back to me now that I'm looking at this footage. Is I imagine that this family used to live in, what is it, Henford on Bagely. They used to live like Henford on Bagely, or maybe they lived in Brindleton Bay. And those are like very coastal or very small town kind of places. And I imagine that's where they grew up, and that's where the parents grew up, and that's where they met. But I feel like the family got like a big break, and the father bought a restaurant, so he moved to the city, and grandma decided to move with him because I feel like grandma was recently widowed. So I just wanted to make something that could house the entire family. I can't remember how many kids there are in this house. I know there are a set of twin boys. There's a teenage girl, a teenage boy, a young girl sim, and then I think it's the parents, the grandma. But I also put in a toddler room in this house. I feel like maybe they're expecting another baby. It's really unfortunate that sometimes in The Sims there are mods for it, but you can't go over the 8 sim limit, which is really unfortunate. So maybe the one son is just on the brink of moving out, and he's going off to Brightchester. And because I feel like the son is the oldest, and then it's the teenage daughter. I feel like the youngest daughter is the baby of the family for now, because maybe mom is pregnant. Maybe mom's got a little bun in the oven or something. And yeah, maybe that's just the story for the family. I've been speaking over it, but the house has kind of come together. I decided to put in a wraparound porch, but that didn't last very long. I didn't like how it looked on this house. I was building this house on a smaller lot, and I just didn't want it to touch like the edges of the lot. I didn't want it to feel like it was taking up too much of the lot and make it look too big. And I wanted to have a garage off to the side. So I got rid of the wraparound porch. I just feel like it didn't suit the suburban styles going forward. That's really good for if you wanted to make a farmhouse kind of vibe. But here I'm working on building a little garage. I really wanted to add a garage to one of my builds. I've been seeing a lot of houses because I've been looking the past few weeks on Pinterest, because I've heard that that's a really good place to go for building inspo. And I've been on building inspo on Pinterest, and I saw so many houses that have this adorable little garage that is separate from the main house, and I really like it. So I wanted to build one here. Here I'm actually working on the project. I had to cut out the landscaping. This build was something like 55 minutes speed up, so I had to cut out a little bit of like the floor plan and the bathrooms and the landscaping. But here in the landscaping that you can see, I use the walls. I think they are the curved walls from Get Together. That's what my notes say, but I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. And I just used the tool mod to lower them into the ground to make it look like, I don't know, like I wanted it to look overgrown but really kind of contained and manicured, like really lush but kind of put away and perfectly placed. So I put the walls around it just to make it look a little bit more manicured, make it look like little planters essentially. But I wanted the landscaping to be a bit more manicured, because typically I go with landscaping that is like really overgrown and really bushy and really big and just plants everywhere. That's my typical landscaping style. It's my preferred landscaping style actually. And I just wanted to do something that was a little bit different. Here you can see I'm building on the inside of the garage at this point, and I really like how this garage comes together. I don't often build garages in my houses, but I really wanted to build one with this house because I had the idea that a family this big, and especially a family that has just moved to my house, I feel like they just moved here like a year ago or something like that, and I feel like a family this big has a lot of interest and they would need somewhere to store all the clutter and all the unsightly things, because this house is pretty neat considering how many Sims live here. And I just wanted something that kind of felt like a space that just kind of felt lived in, and felt like that's where all the trash goes. So I put the laundry in here. I use my favorite trick where I just use the dishwasher and slot that under the counter, sized it down to its smallest size, and I use the tool mod to just lower the washer and dryer just a little bit so it just fits snugly under the counter. Again, I'm advocating, please can we get washer and dryers that snap underneath the counters? I would love that. I don't think it's functional. I still have yet to play test it. Like I said, I just got back, so I don't know if it's play tested. I will have to check and see. I would love that. If that could be functional, I would love that. I think it would be really cute. But I added the laundry in here. I added a table for flower arranging, and I added a woodworking table in here and some bikes. And I feel like the bikes are being passed down to the twin boys. I feel like they belong to the elder sister and elder brother, and now they've been passed down. So maybe they put in a garage because dad intends on painting them, or mom intends on painting them at some point. Don't know when, but some point. But I love this garage looks. It's really cozy, really warm in here actually. And I feel like, I don't know, it's just a really cute space. And I don't often get to make rooms that are just purely decorative. I did add the flower arranging table in there because I have a backstory for Grandma. Now, Grandma used to have a farm in the farmlands where they were living. Where was it? Henford on Bagely. I want to say Bangford on Henley. Henford on Bagely. And that's where Grandma used to live with her wife. And I feel like Grandma is this generation's mom's mom. I don't feel like she's the mother-in-law to the mom. I feel like she is the mom's mom, if that makes any sense. You guys know what I mean. She's not the dad's mother, she's the mom's mother. Here you can see I'm working on the floor plan, and the floor plan came together pretty easily. I had to cut it out because I did struggle just a little bit. But Grandma's story. So Grandma used to live on the farm with her wife, and the two of them lived happily over there, and they ran a cute little farm, and they had like a little store in town, and it was really cute. And suddenly there was an accident, and Grandma became a widow like really suddenly, and she wasn't expecting it. And Grandma's still quite young. I feel like if Grandma was IRL, Grandma would be like in her early 60s. Like if 60, she would be like in her 60s. And I feel like she was really young and she lost her wife really suddenly. And with the family, like her daughter and her daughter's husband and her family, them deciding to move to the suburbs and move to the city because they wanted to open up a restaurant to chase the husband's dreams, the son-in-law's dreams. She decided, you know what, I'm going to sell the shop, I'm going to sell the farm. She brought all the chickens with her. There's chickens in this house in the backyard, and I think it's really cute. But Grandma brought the chickens with her. She brought her business with her, and she still runs her Etsy business. It's just relocated. I feel like Grandma still does like worldwide shipping, if that's even a thing in The Sims. And she just lives here now, and just is surrounded by all the love from her daughter and from her family. And she's really sad because she misses her wife. And I feel like, I don't know why grandma's always single, okay? It just is that way. Someday I'll make a family that has grandpa in it. There you can see the living room has just come together, and here we are moving into the toddler's room. Now, looking back at this build, especially after the few weeks it has been since I've built this, I do wish that I had removed this toddler room altogether and it joined it into one long room, and maybe even used platforms to separate it, where I made it one living room and dining room, because I feel like the living room was really small, especially for the size of family. But I'm never too really fussed about living rooms, because I feel like the heart of the house is actually the kitchen. I don't feel like the heart of the house is specifically the living room, especially with Sims. I just don't feel that they use the living room as much as you would like. They kind of just do whatever. They use the dining room, but they don't often use the TV. I don't often see my Sims using the TV for entertainment. They're always on the computers or in the garden or on the computers or at the easels or something like that. They're not always at the PCs, and I just say computers so many times. They're not always at their TVs. The only time I think my Sims are at the TVs is when they're watching like the Game of Tomes? What is the Sims equivalent of it? The Sims equivalent of Game of Thrones. Oh, I can't remember. But that's the only time I ever see my Sims actually using the TV, is when I actively say, go watch TV. But it actually doesn't bring up their fun all that much. I did see recently that dogs, like your pets, they bring up your fun a lot. You just have to pet your pets once. Like play with him once, and your fun goes all the way up. Versus TV, where I always have my Sims try and watch TV to bring up their fun, and it never really works. So to me, the living room isn't never like my priority. I like decorating them, but I feel like we just don't have enough sofas and sofa options. So I always just kind of do them last, honestly. Like, they're my last priority. I always just want to get to the bathrooms, the bedrooms. The kitchen is always my favorite room to decorate. And I think out of all the bedrooms, the least favorite to decorate is actually the parents' bedroom, which is the one I'm working on right now. This is the parents' bedroom that I'm working on. And I do feel like this is a more decorated and more personality driven version of a parents' room that I normally do, because if you watch my builds, especially if you look at my builds in the gallery, I don't know what it is, but my parents, when they get married, my Sims, when they get married and they have kids, for some reason they just forfeit all personality completely. It's always just a bed, a dresser, a mirror, a plant, and that's about it. In their bedrooms, I never give them personality and clutter. So when I was decorating this room, I was thinking about that, and I just wanted a lot of different pieces. The pieces in this room, all the wood swatch don't exactly match, and I wanted everything kind of to feel like, maybe this family is just gathering pieces from all over and nothing quite matches. Like, I think it's really realistic when your woods don't match in The Sims. I know it's really infuriating when we're trying to match like a dining chair and a table. I know it gets really upsetting when we do that. But I think on the plus side is when you take screenshots and you are playing in your game, it actually looks more realistic to not have everything match. Because I don't know about you, but for me personally, my desk that I use does not match my dresser and does not match my nightstand. It certainly doesn't match my bed. My bed frame is actually white. If you watch my streams, you've seen my bed. It's a white wooden bed frame, and everything else in my room is like polished, I want to say oak, but I don't know. It's just polished yellow wood. So I just feel like it's more realistic when your Sims houses, not all the woods necessarily match. Something else about this house that I have to mention is, you might have noticed it, I did do the kitchen and I didn't show it. There's a reason. I did the kitchen, decided I hated it, and then went back and deleted everything and redid the kitchen. Now, I'm not throwing shade at Dream Home Decorator. Dream Home Decorator is an amazing pack. I just feel like it wasn't the kitchen that went with this house. I feel like the kitchen just looked too modern, it looked too updated. It honestly just looked a little bit too fancy. And there are definitely houses where those cabinetries work. Yeah, I'm working on the kitchen. There are definitely times when this works. This was just not one of them. And I don't know about you, but my favorite cabinetry in The Sims is actually the ones that come with parenthood. And so I just changed those out. I left most of the clutter, so I did have to cut most of the clutter out of the kitchen, but I do really like how this kitchen came out. And I did include a breakfast nook in this kitchen. And also, if you've been watching my recent builds, I have been struggling trying to get the dining room out of the kitchen. So the dining table is actually outside the kitchen. I mean, it is in the living room, so it doesn't have its own room yet. I'll get there. At some point, I will figure out how to make a floor plan that has a separate kitchen and a separate dining room and a separate living room. For now, the dining room is always just tacked onto another room. But I did get the dining room out of the kitchen for once, and now we just have like a little tiny little breakfast nook where you can go and have breakfast, or you can just have like a quick snack, or maybe it's just a nice place to have a cup of coffee before your kids wake up. I did use debug to go in and pull some items to decorate the kitchens. I've been using debug a lot more in my builds just to kind of add a bit more personality and a bit more clutter and a bit more of a different look of clutter to my builds. But the pot that I put on the stove, I actually don't know if that expires when you go into live mode or not. You're gonna have to see. I should probably check. What I actually really want to do is make a room where I can put all my favorite kitchen like clutter and debug clutter and just use that, because then I know it doesn't expire. But I really wanted to make this kitchen really homey and really lived in, because like I said, I imagine that this family, they moved from the farm areas and they moved to the city because the dad and the mom, they wanted to buy a restaurant and try and run a successful business. Maybe they also wanted a different life for their kids, a more energetic sort of city lifestyle for the kids. So maybe they decided to move out here, and that's where everything comes from. And yeah, I really like it. I really like how this all comes together. The one room I did struggle with is grandma's room, but that is the next room we decorate. This is actually my favorite room in the house. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but when Nifty Knitting came out, I was really excited. I wasn't part of the people who voted for Nifty Knitting, because when we were voting for Nifty Knitting, I was not actively playing The Sims 4 back then. I was still playing The Sims 3, because I was really opposed to The Sims 4 back then. But when Nifty Knitting came out, I was really excited, and then I built a couple of craft rooms, and then I never built them again. So in this house, I really wanted a craft room, and I wanted to use all the pieces. I just filled it by Nifty Knitting and I just pulled everything out. And I imagine this is where grandma runs her little plopsy business, and this is where her daughter, because I feel like her daughter is somebody who, she's a stay-at-home mom, she's helping her mom run her business, she's helping her husband run the restaurant. I feel like she's a mom that can kind of have it all. And I feel like this is also where they make Halloween costumes for their kids. As I'm recording this, Halloween was like 2 days ago, so I wanted something that kind of felt like a craft room and like a little business. What I did do, and you'll see it a little bit there on the table, is I took the basket from Cottage Living, and I took all the debug toys that your Sims make with Nifty Knitting, and I sized them up and down. I just changed the size a little bit, and I just raised it up to be in that basket to look like it was a basket of stock, like things they were making for the website. And I think it turned out so cute. I was looking for a basket for a long time in the debug menu, and I didn't find anything that was working the way I wanted to do. I tried using a laundry basket at first, that didn't work, and then I found this basket, and with the blanket and the pillows in there, I just feel like it all looks so cozy and really cohesive, and I feel like it matched really well, and I was really excited about how it looks. So hopefully you guys like it too. Let me know. I don't know, I just think it's really sweet and kind of gets it like a homey touch, because I feel like there's stuff that is being crocheted and knitted, just, I mean, it looks like a yarn ball just puked in that room, just like exploded in that room, because there's like yarn everywhere. And this little wing in the area of the house is kind of like grandma's wing. The parents don't have an ensuite to their room, but grandma does. I think it's an ensuite. I think grandma actually might have to go out into the hall and into the bathroom. There's one bathroom downstairs, and I believe two bathrooms upstairs. I might be mistaken. It's been a while since I've built this house. But I think there's about 3 bathrooms in this house total. And I did separate the toilet from the rest of the bathroom. I don't know about you guys, but here in South Africa, it's quite common for us to have our toilet separate from our bathroom. Let me know if that's common for you guys over there too. But I was really struggling with grandma's room over here. I knew I wanted grandma's room to be yellow, and I wanted to be really happy. And I knew I wanted this big dresser, and I wanted the cottage living. I keep saying country living, cottage living bed. And I knew what I wanted it to look like. I was just struggling with the floor plan because this was just a giant rectangle, and trying to find somewhere to put everything was just really, really tough. So you'll see me messing around with the furnishing quite a bit, trying to find somewhere to put everything. I think because I also just really wanted a fireplace in here. I wanted grandma to feel like she had the biggest room in the house. I did include a fireplace in both the parents' room and the grandma's room. Although I think the one in the parents' room is not functional. I think it's just the mantle. Oh, if you heard that, that was just my phone dinging. But I think the one from the parents' room is just a mantle. I think that one came with, I want to say, the Christmas pack. If not, then it's base game is what I want to say. But here I'm kind of just figuring out how I wanted grandma's room to look, and I finally found a place for everything. I wanted grandma's room to look like she still had way too much furniture from a previous house, and maybe there were just dresses everywhere and things she just didn't want to get rid of, and pictures she just didn't want to get rid of. So I wanted it to feel like she just kept way too much and moved with way too much. So the room feels a little crowded, it feels a little claustrophobic, and nothing quite matches. But again, that was the style I was going for this house. And I think it turned out really cute. I put an armchair in with some books on the table and some tissues because maybe grandma still cries. That's really sad. I don't know why I said that, but that's really sad actually. I don't want to think about grandma crying in a room because of her late wife. That sounds really bad. I wonder if grandma will find love again in this new neighborhood, or if she will kind of just prioritize her family. What do you guys think? Let me know. I think grandma is kind of going to prioritize the family, but you never know. Love strikes any time, and if you use the romantic card and wishing well, love can just kind of come out of nowhere for you. I'm using this dresser from the cats and dogs pack, and let me tell you, this dresser is one of my favorites because if you look in it, you see that there is like those folded blankets inside, and I just feel like that's really cozy and really cute and really realistic. Typically when I am doing my speed builds and I'm recording, I kind of do the exterior a little bit, go inside, do the floor plan, figure out how I want the inside of the house to look, go back outside, finish up the landscaping a little bit more, then go inside and decorate, and then I'll do the first floor, the second floor, and then I'll come outside and do the backyard. But for this house, I don't know why, but I decided to do the backyard before I did the second story of the house, and I'm really glad that I did. I really love how this area comes together. This backyard is a lot bigger than I normally have my backyards, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. So you'll see there's the chicken coop from that I was speaking about earlier, and I put down some garden plots because I thought maybe grandma is still doing her gardening and maybe she's still in her farmer ways and she's still taking care of the chickens, because I feel like you can take grandma out of Henford, but you can't take the Henford out of grandma. You know that corny phrase? I feel like that kind of suits grandma a little bit. But I've also put a fire pit outside because I feel like in the summertime it would be really great to come light up a fire, or maybe even fall time. I'm missing fall right now. It is spring over here and I am just missing fall so much. I'm missing the cozy weather right now as it heats up over here. So I'm just thinking of fall weather and how cozy it would be to go sit by that fireplace outside that fire pit and spend the evening kind of just roasting marshmallows, making s'mores, and telling ghost stories. And I feel like that would be a really cozy evening. I even also included here a picnic area. I don't often use the backyard stuff pack and the toddler stuff pack. I feel like the toddler stuff pack and the backyard pack were kind of geared toward the outside area and kind of just leaning more towards like a picnic style. So I don't often get to use it, but I did put this rug out here because I felt like it looked like a picnic blanket. I put down the giant tree. I think this tree is from movie Hangout. Yeah, I think it's from movie Hangout because it's got all those pretty lanterns on it. And I used that tree over the picnic area. And I don't know, I think it just looks really, really cute. Here I'm kind of messing around with the pool. Originally I wanted to do something really cool with the pool and do a sunken step. You know how those fancy pools are where they have the sunken step in the pool where they put the loungers on. I was trying to do something like that, but I cut it out because I fiddled around with it way too much and it just ended up not working for me, and that's totally fine. So I'm just putting down some beach towels instead of some lounges because I feel like maybe the kids were just swimming and the towels are all laid out over there, and I think it just looks really lifting and really cute. So yeah, I'm about to go back in and add some paving stones. If you don't know what this is actually just called ingredient in the debug menu, and it's a great way to sort of map out your paths, because from my experience, and I don't know if this is maybe a glitch or something, but you sometimes actually can't walk past it. So I like to use it as a way to kind of define my paths a little bit more, just because to kind of try and control the Sims routing. So that's what I use it for, and just adding a little bit more landscaping. And I think this backyard turned out really sweet, really cute. It's different from the backyards I normally do, which is usually just a grill, a table, a monkey bar, and a pool. I don't know why all my houses have pools. I mean, that's a pretty fancy thing to have, I think. So they all have pools, and I feel like that's pretty cool. But maybe not realistic for real life is that all the houses have pools. You know, the thing about it is the family restaurant must be pretty successful. And I'm thinking about the teenagers that live in this house. I wonder if they work at the family restaurant on the weekends and like after school. But here I'm back inside the house and I'm working on the teen daughter's bedroom. She does have a balcony, which is pretty fancy. I've been adding a lot of balconies into my builds recently. I don't typically do balconies in my Sims houses, but I've been loving them so far. And I had a clear idea of the Sim that I wanted to live in this bedroom. I had a clear idea of the Sim I wanted to live in this bedroom. I feel like this Sim, although an artist is a very strict kind of artist to herself, I feel like she's got everything kind of mapped out and planned out. I don't feel like she is a free spirit necessarily. I feel like she's a very strict, like A student. Like her parents probably told her, you know, if you want to pursue art, you kind of have to have really good grades in the rest of your parts of school. Or maybe she just really wants to go to a really fancy art school. Or maybe she wants to be accepted into, it's Brightchester that does the arts. Maybe she wants to be accepted into Brightchester and that's what she wants to do, and she's trying to get her grades up because she wants to study there. Maybe because that is such a beautiful university, is Brightchester. I actually prefer Brightchester to Foxbury. I might be a little biased because we have a lot of old universities where I live, and I don't know, I feel like the Sim here is I feel like she's the kind of person who would bullet journal. If you guys know what bullet journaling is, I love bullet journaling, and I feel like it's a really creative way to kind of map out your days. But I feel like the Sim is really obsessed with art and creating things, but she's also a very neat person, so very different from the artists I typically create. But I made the family in cast that lives in this house, and this I really enjoy the daughter that I made that lives here. If you just heard that was my cat. She has just woken up from her nap. But yeah, I really like this room. Originally I was going to use a bed from Seasons in a pink swatch, but I decided the Montgomery bed more match the Sim's personality more than a freestyle bed from Seasons. But yeah, I really like how this room came together. I'm just adding a little bit more clutter, and I decorated this room using all the canvases from the base game and also the portraits that came with Eco Lifestyle. I've been loving using those as decorations lately because I've been sizing them down and adding them everywhere. And I even added a second easel onto the balcony over here because I was struggling to figure out what to put on the balcony over here, especially for a teenager. But I've always tried to put easels on like exterior parts, kind of like parts where there's like a balcony or a porch or a back porch, like somewhere where you can go stand outside and sort of get inspired by the scenery. Here I struggled for quite a little bit to put this together, but there isn't really computers in all the bedrooms in this house, so I wanted to make a hallway desk area because I just really think it's realistic. If you have young kids, you want to see what they're doing on the computers. So I just made this custom desk area by using the shelves. What I did was I used the desk from Parenthood, placed the computers on there, sized down the desk to the smallest size after putting the computer on it, so it looked like the computer is floating. And then I just used the shelves from Mount Komerebi pack, Snow Escape, not Mount Komerebi pack, from Snow Escape, and I used those underneath the computers because it just looks like it fits there, and it's all completely functional. It's play tested. I know that works. I use it so often in my builds, and yeah, I just think it's a really fun way to make custom desks, especially long desks. I feel like making a long desk sometimes can be really tricky, and when you want to put two computers and you don't want to put a dining table, I feel like it's a great way to make custom desks to any size that you want to, because you really can make it as big as you want. You could carry that on infinitely and have as many computers as you want, especially if you're doing the 100 baby challenge like I am. But here I'm working on the twin boy room. Now this room is possibly one of my favorites in the house, next to the craft room and the kitchen, because this room has so much personality. I feel like the boys in this room, they are really naughty and they get up to a lot of mischief, and I feel like I feel like they're the popular boys at their school. I don't feel like they are like I feel like maybe they are like the class clowns, sort of, and I feel like they are always making jokes, making everybody laugh, kind of getting on all the authorities' nerves. And I don't know, I feel like they get up to a lot of mischief and they kind of just give their parents grey hairs constantly. At least that's what my dad used to say first. Whenever I used to be naughty as a kid, he would just say to me, I'm always giving grey hairs. So that's what I imagine these kids do. This rug that I'm using in the room is actually from my first pet stuff, and for the longest time I was trying to make this rug work. I swear someday I will make this rug swatch work. It was just not my day today, and I really love this specific swatch on this rug. Now I do want to address, you see the green line on my screen? I don't know what that is. I was using the tool mod a little bit and the green line just appeared. If you guys know what that is and know how to get rid of it, please let me know in the comments. I don't know what it is, but it just appeared, and unfortunately it stays there for the rest of the video. I hope it doesn't bug you too much, but it is unfortunately there and I just couldn't get rid of it. I tried for a little bit and I don't know, it was just glitched there. But here I just added some poofs and I added some chairs and some beanbags in the seating area, and I wanted to add a TV, and I was imagining that these kids, they like to have sleepovers and have their friends over because they are the popular class clowns. I feel like they have a lot of friends over and they're really popular, so they would have a TV in the room because they would watch a lot of like scary movies together. Because I feel like the kids that live in this room are possibly like, I don't know, 12 years old. I feel like these boys are about 12. I feel like the teen daughter is possibly like 15, the teen son is like 17, and the youngest daughter, I think she's about like 8. I feel like there's quite a few gaps in between, and I feel like now with a new house, there's a new baby on the way. But for this teen's boy room, I don't know, I just really wanted to feel lived in and cluttered. I put some laundry baskets down, I put some clothing, some laundry debug on the floor right in front of the washer baskets, and I used the tool mod to put a laptop on, what is that, like a play chest, and I think it looks really cute. I don't think it's functional, sadly, but I think it works out really cute. Here we move on to the teen boy's room, and for the teen boy, I wanted to make him a streamer. I feel like this kid is into entertainment, and they kind of just want to be a streamer and a content creator. So I gave him a stream setup. I put the lights down and I put in extra monitors. This kid has my dream setup at the moment. My setup looks nothing like this, and I feel like it's really cute. And yeah, this is just another room that I feel is really mature and realistic and minimalistic. I tried something with the eco lifestyle wall decorations to try and make a headboard. It didn't last long because it just didn't work. I feel like I've seen somebody do it and it looks better. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I really wanted to make it work. If you guys see a picture of that, please link it. I don't know where I went wrong, but for some reason I just couldn't get it to work. But I'll try again next time. But this room I wanted to feel minimalistic, because especially if you are a streamer, I feel like the rooms are either really cluttered and really personalized or really minimalistic, and I feel like this kid went for the minimalistic look, and he's got his gaming console and a big TV. I feel like he must have bought that TV with his Twitch money. I wonder what the Sims version of Twitch is. I know they just say you can click on the computer and just start live streaming, but I wonder what they would call it. I also put the laundry baskets in this room, and I put them a little bit out of the way, especially if this kid would be live streaming. You wouldn't want it on camera, so I just tucked it away, and I think that room came out really, really cute, especially in the end. And this is the last bedroom I think that I'm working on. I did have to remove the bathrooms on this build just because it was getting a little long. So I think this is the last room that I'm going to be working on, and this is for the youngest daughter. I did a cute thing over here where I used the Tiny Living, the short square dresses, and I just stacked them on top of each other because I had no idea what to put in that little alcove. I was struggling and trying to figure out, that's why I kind of put this room off to last. It's because I was just struggling to figure out what to put there. But I do like how it came at the end. I didn't want to specifically decorate this room to be one color and like very pink and very girly, or very feminine I should say, but I did want it to look really young, so I added some toys and I added some posters on the wall, and I used that beautiful bedspread, I think it's from kids room stuff, and I'm just adding the last few details before we come to the screenshots. If you guys have watched the video until the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to leave a like, it really helps out the channel. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember to stay kind, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.